Hey, hey, welcome to the Couples Corner. We are Team Bevins.
Hello,
I am Marcus, and this is my beautiful wife.
Cherie.
And we are excited about being here today with you guys. And we are going to finish out what we started last week, dealing with the love languages. And of course, we'll, catch up on how we were doing with Valentine's Day and all the good stuff that we had going on with that. So we'll catch up with that in just a moment. So for those of you who are tuned in with us on YouTube and on Facebook, why don't you share this, invite some people to the conversation so that we can have this great dialogue tonight. We are definitely going to have some fun tonight as usual. So we'll pray in just a moment, and then we'll jump right in and get started. So right after we pray, we'll, get started in it. But y'all start thinking about, what you want to share and say about this Valentine's weekend, how it went for you, the things that you did, all that good stuff, so that we know how everybody made out. So that's what we're looking forward to getting into today. So we'll pray and then we'll get started. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for another opportunity to gather together in the Couples Corner. We thank you, Lord, for everything that you are showing us, everything that you're giving us, all of the information, the tools, the nuggets that we'll have, that we'll be able to use so that we will be able to have better and stronger relationships, so that we'll be better examples of what marriage is supposed to look like. We thank you, Lord, that you love us and that you continue to give us your grace, your mercy, and your peace, your love, and your strength. Oh God, help us to continue to grow in our relationships, to never get complacent, and to always strive to be better each day. We love you and we thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. So again, we are talking about the last two. We did the first three of the love languages last week. We're going to finish out the last two this week. But of course, we just dealt with Valentine's weekend. Valentine's Day was yesterday. And so how did everybody make out with Valentine's Day? What did you guys do? And, was it good and all that good stuff? We had, an exciting weekend on our end as well. So we'll tell you a little with that as well. But for those of you who are able to type now, you can go ahead and start typing about your Valentine's weekend, what you did, over the weekend, or just specifically yesterday, what you guys did to celebrate Valentine's Day. If you did, we did ours a little different this year. Instead of it being more of the focus on us, we did it about the family this year. So we celebrated, with our kids and all that good stuff. We always do stuff with them and for them, but we kind of made the day out of it. We, cooked and had some treats and all that good stuff, the things that they like. And then we attempted a movie that majority of them made it through, but we, praise the Lord, the two of us, we didn't do too well with it. That heaviness of sleep came upon, and it was, it was nice to be asleep. So it was, but it was all good. We had some segments and things like that. So it was, we had different avenues or areas that we kind of dealt with because our children are vary in age. So we, so we kind of did some things for the younger and then some with the older, all that good stuff. But it was good. It was fun. We enjoyed it.
Some of them had Valentine's, so they left.
Yeah, that
okay.
too. So, that happens. But yeah, it was a good time. What did you guys do? How'd y'all make out for Valentine's Day? Anybody do anything special before we jump into these love language topics? If so, go ahead and type them. We'll get to them in a moment.
Whatever you did, we want to know. Okay. Because we gave out a lot of
ideas,
suggestions and ideas, and we would like to know what it is that you did. Okay. So I want you to get to typing because I need to know what you did.
Right.
If you got something too, I want to know that. I want to know what you got. I want to know what you did for Valentine's Day.
Yeah. All that's good stuff. All that's good stuff. Even if you got what we got, which was a couple winks, which was good, at the moment. So, but we had a good time. We had a good time. So we're gonna recap on a little of what we did last week with the first three of the love languages. and then we will get into the last two. So we talked about the words of affirmation. We dealt with the words of affirmation. We also dealt with physical touch. And the third one that we dealt with was giving gifts, right? Receiving gifts or giving? Gift giving.
Receiving gifts.
Right, receiving gifts, yes, receiving gifts. So we kind of expounded a little on those things and the importance of them in our relationships. And so, of course, hopefully, our relationships are not just based on, you know, the gift receiving, and hopefully you're on the other side too, and you're giving some. But you know, that's all a part of it, you know. The words of affirmation, they're important because you want to be able to affirm, you want to be able to encourage, you want to be able to strengthen, to motivate your mate with your words, and you don't, you know, sometimes understand how valuable they are. So we kind of dealt with that. Of course, you can go back and look at last week's video to kind of see the details that we went into with that. So we had one that said dinner out on Friday, dinner with the kids on Valentine's Day. Got workout sneakers that I needed. Nice. Always good.
That was nice.
Those.
This was kind of good. The Valentine's Day was on Sunday. You kind of like do something for the whole weekend, you know, or, you know, start on Sunday, take off on Monday, you know. I didn't do that, of course. But
yeah, that wasn't our portion this time. But yeah, that was.
Where did you go to dinner? Or because you said dinner out. So where'd you go, if you don't mind sharing? Because some of us are going to go next weekend. Because we need to know. Did you have to sit an hour, or you weren't in the city?
Right. Yeah, I was going to say, were you in the city with the hour restriction, or were you in the county with, you know, a little unlimited time? Petty. Real petty. You go buy that man a bag of candy because he getting fit a little faster than you. That's petty. But I'm sure he enjoyed it, and I'm sure he ate it too, because we do not like to see y'all's gifts go to waste.
Armando Mills. Yes, last time we went to Cheesecake Factory, it was so good.
Yeah, and we hadn't been in a really long time before we went that last time. But I think we went to Columbia.
Columbia, yeah, I think.
But yeah, it was a really long time since I've been to the Cheesecake Factory. But yeah, it was good. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. So yeah, but tell them don't eat all the candy all in one night though. Spread it out. And
did you take the kids out for dinner, or did you just cook for them? Not just because you can cook. Did you cook for them, or did you take them out to dinner?
So we had a, you know, pretty eventful weekend. We had a lot going on Saturday. It was, you know, around here, it was a whole lot going on actually Saturday. Because we have a larger family, you know, we kind of had to import to, we had to import to make sure that
seafood boil,
all was well. Yeah, that was nice.
A seafood boil at home?
Right.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
some kids got up by the Jefferson.
Right, them kids ain't better than I did.
He cooked. He chose it. It wasn't because of me.
But yeah, we had a, you know, pretty eventful weekend on Saturday.
Like pretty eventful.
Right. So Saturday morning, early Saturday morning, it got started because we had 7 heads of hair that had to get done, and 5 faces that had to get made up.
5 faces,
7 heads. So we had hairstylists to come and do those 7 heads of hair, and makeup artists to come and do the 5 faces, because we had family portraits on Saturday. And so, you know, that was all a part of the process.
Yes, it was all a part of the process. So we had hair salon, makeup studio, all of that in the house.
Yeah.
Shout out to Desiree and Janae. I will be tagging them when I post the pictures.
Right. So that was very eventful. And it was a lot, you know, going on. It actually looked like somebody was getting married. It was one of those kind of environments.
It did.
And so, me and MJ, we were all right because we didn't have to deal with either of those. We weren't included in that. But I had to work Saturday morning, so I was gone and came back. But we had a lot going on. And then on Saturday afternoonish evening, we had a little surprise engagement. So it wasn't a surprise to us.
It wasn't, but I feel so good today, guys. I feel so good. That's why last week I was like, nobody can get a massage from me on the 13th. Can't have no massage on the 13th. That's because I had things to do.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So that was good. Our daughter got engaged on Saturday. So that was pretty eventful.
Pretty.
And we hung out, with them on Saturday evening. And then yesterday we did family time. They kind of did it all day. I did it once I came back from church. And, we had a great old time. It was nice. It was nice. Nice for you?
It was nice.
Nice.
Yeah, it was nice.
So let's get into these last two love languages, and then we'll build on there. So the first one that we'll get into is the acts of service. So that's a love language. And sometimes I think we have to be careful that we're not on the one-sided end of this, that we're just not on the receiving end of the acts of service, but that we are actually providing the services sometimes, because that can be very important in how your relationship grows and how it flourishes and functions. The fact that you are providing some activity, and you're doing some things that will help your mate. And sometimes we don't consider that because we think that, everything is about us. But sometimes you have to be the one that does the act. You have to sacrifice and provide to take the load off to, help your mate, because you really don't know how, valuable that is or how important that is. Sometimes your mate is not going to ask for help. We just got to be honest about that. Sometimes they're not going to ask for help, and it could be for various reasons, but your volunteering and your jumping in and kind of pitching in goes a long way, especially on the men's side. We sometimes won't ask for help just because we don't want to be a bother or, whatever the case. But if you jump in to help and do it, we'll let you. We just sometimes aren't going to ask you to do it. And so the consideration goes a long way on our side when we feel like we're being considered, when we feel like, you kind of see what we're doing and you want to jump in and help. So that means a lot on our side. And so those acts of service, they really do play, a big part. They really do go a long way, especially on the men's side. She can kind of speak a little more for the women, but it goes a long way because we mentioned, that oftentimes men are kind of expected to be and expected to do. It goes both ways. But, more so sometimes when it comes to the help that men are expected to do or expected to be. And then, they kind of feel like they aren't considered. They feel like they aren't thought about, or, it's just expected that they're going to do this or, be that, say this. So that kind of can become, something that they'll do, but your act of service, you're pitching in, you're jumping in to help, it could go a long way.
Yeah. So acts of service, if you are, you need to be careful to not create a problem. Meaning, so if you're offering, this as, because it's your spouse's love language, but you don't know how to do it, like you don't know how to wash clothes, and you put everything together and colors is bleeding on whites and all of that, then that act of service turns into something different.
That's an act of destruction.
So, do it to the point where you can do anything. You can fold clothes. You can carry the clothes from wherever location they have to be to where they need to, where they are to where they need to go. And I'm just using that as example for those of you who may be like, what is acts of service? So, you know, you can fold clothes, you can cook, you can go wash their car. You can get their car washed if you don't do it. Go get it washed and detailed or something like that. But again, you know, if your wife really loves her car and she goes a certain place, try to take it to that place because they know what she wants done to her car. Because you go somewhere else, they mess it up or they, you know, whatever, then this is going to present a problem and you'll be saying, oh, well, at least I tried. At least I did it. I did, you know. And so we want this to be a positive outcome, a positive thing. So you really have to kind of study to know what acts of service would assist your spouse, would help them. Now, you don't want to do it just because, oh, well, let me just do it because I know, you know, you should get joy, a little bit of joy in doing it, you know, or doing it together. If you're not doing the whole thing, you can do it with them. You don't have to take over the whole thing. But again, if you don't know how to do it, you know, you might offer up the suggestion. I will help you, you know, iron the clothes, but last time I burnt, you know, whatever, because you know you don't, but you do want to in your heart, and maybe that can be something y'all can do together. Well, let me teach you how to, you know, iron the clothes, or let me teach you how to sort, or let me teach you how to change the oil in the car. Right? So, and that's true because men do want, some men, this is their love language, acts of service. And again, if you want to put your love language in there, that's cool. And we're still, you know, talking about Valentine's Day. So wherever you went, whatever you did, whatever you got, you can post that as well while we're talking. And if you have any questions, any comments, do that. Feel free to do that. But when it comes to acts of service, you want to get that positive outcome. Okay. You want to get that positive outcome. You want to also know that when you start, you can finish whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't want to like start something and be like, oh, I was only going, you know, I was only going shovel the porch. I'm not shoveling all the way down there. I know that's what you do, but that's not, you know, so like we want, because often we don't think this all the way through. We don't think these things all the way through. And then what was a good thing becomes something that both of you are like, why did you even do it? And you're like, why did I even try? Because this became a disaster. And that's not what we're looking for. Right. So you have to study your mate. Even to my favorite people, my engaged people, you can study them even now in your time of dating, and you can figure out what, if acts of service is their love language, you can figure out what would help them, what they would like. You know, if it's not, then it's not. You know, a lot of people may not be running around like acts of service. And another thing, if it is a stress reliever for your spouse, or if it is therapy for your spouse, don't go doing it because they need to do it. You know, even if you think, oh, I want to take the load off, but if you know, like, for her to just sit here and put the clothes and color order in the closet, don't you do it. You know, take the clothes to the closet, but then let her put them in color order, because that is her therapy. That gives her relief. Some people love the things they do and they don't want help with it because they don't think anybody else can do it as good as them. You know, if your husband always vacuums the floor every day or always cleans the bathroom and he feels like he's the only one who can do it, then let him do it. Yeah, because
in some cases they think they only one that can do it right. Not
right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They can do it because he might want designs in the carpet when he's vacuuming.
Yes.
And you know, he need them streaks going the right way, and you just out here just looking like an Etch-a-Sketch. But you like, hey, the floor clean.
Or like cutting the grass. You know, I know our neighbor, he does like he has a pattern to his grass. Now, if his wife come out here, like, at least I cut the grass. And like you said, it's looking all crazy. Right. Whenever he cuts his grass, it's a pattern. You know, he takes his time, he does it. And you know that he was out here taking his time cutting that grass. But if I went over there and cut the grass, Marcus the grass would just get cut. If his wife came outside, the grass may just get cut. But if she knows how to do it his way, if she knows that, like, okay, well, let me take my time and do it. This is his pattern, and I'm going to do it exactly like that. Then that's fine. I'm sure that's great. But if you're coming out and you're just like, I'm just cutting this grass, you be happy. You know, no, this is not the outcome we're looking for. We're looking for things to get done.
Right. Be grateful.
And be grateful I even came outside to cut the grass. No.
Yeah, that's important too, because like you said, you want it done. Some people want it done a certain way. And then if you're going to do it, but not do it right, then to them, you created a problem. You actually didn't help. Although your intentions were good, and, we talked a little about this before, not necessarily about the acts of service, but sometimes we have intentions of things that we want to do, but our intentions and our reality don't always match up. So I had good intentions when I went to do this, but the outcome didn't match my intentions and I did harm instead of good. And so that does happen sometimes. So you have to be, like she said, mindful about what you're doing, how you're doing it, because the way that you do it does matter. You know what I'm saying? You can't be like, oh, you know what? No, don't worry about it. I'm gonna make these ribs. I know my husband like them ribs, and then you go out there, you just do it. Don't put no seasoning, no barbecue, no nothing. You just like, here you go. You know what I mean? But it's like, you gotta, if you do it, it has to be done right in order for it to be effective.
Yeah.
I know oftentimes we say it's the thought that counts, and the thought does count, but it don't get you all the points you need for it to be successful. So while the thought does count, your accuracy does too. So, there needs to be some sense of accuracy to what you're doing so that the service that you are providing, that the focus can be on the act and the service and not just on the act because the service was horrible. So, like you said, we have to be careful with that. We have to make sure that we choose the right things, or that we do the right amount of homework, the right amount of preparation, the right amount of practice before we go presenting it to them. I remember one time I just knew I killed the game. My wife needed her nails done, and I think that something was going on. I can't remember what it was. I don't know if you had surgery or a baby or something, but she couldn't get to the nail salon, and so I did her nails. I killed that joint though. Like, that joint was tough. It was tough. You know what I mean? Like, she almost wore gloves. So
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But it was in that case, it was the thought that count, not the technique, because the technique wasn't there. But I just I got in there because
the technique would have been there if he just painted them, but he want to put designs.
I was doing designs. I mean, if you're gonna do it, you know what I'm saying? You gotta go all the way. The regular painting of the nail was cool. I ain't had like paint all on our fingers and all that. That part was cool, but I was going all the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I wasn't doing like just no little stuff. I was, trying to do some real creative designs. I was getting ready to do some rhinestones, but I ain't had none.
Yeah. He said he would have did our makeup on Saturday, but we wanted to be basic. So
right. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that happens. You have to let people be basic sometimes.
I'm not going to tell y'all his theory, how he does makeup, but whatever. You're a one-time customer. So anyway, so with acts of service, just you have to do your homework, because you may find out that it involves way too much for you to perform something that your spouse does. You thinking, because sometimes we make things look so easy and we're so super efficient with them that if you start researching, like, okay, I'm just going to take my neighbors, for instance, to cut the grass, he goes this way, he picks the lawnmower up, walks back where he was, puts it down, goes again, picks up. Like, that's too much. You might say, oh, I didn't sign up for that. I thought we could just turn it, and go and turn it and go. So you have to do the research of, study, watch what they do, ask questions. So how do you do this? So when you make dinner, when do you start? Some people start in the morning for their evening meal, because it's not always you can just hurry up and cook things, So you just have to
let it simmer.
Right. You gotta, they're thinking like, oh, I let the seasoning set for, and they like, no, I marinated this for 2 days before So you just have to do your homework, find out. And we're still talking about these things because, again, it's not just February. It's not just Valentine's Day, the love month, Black History Month, whatever. It is. And yes, I say Black History Month every time I say that because I want us to be mindful that it's Black History Month too, okay? I don't ever want to forget that it's Black history and we are Black. Indeed. And we love our Black history. So, some days I'm Hispanic, but today I think I'm Black. So
Not I think.
so anyway, but not just in February, not just on these days that we think, not just we're gonna wear red and black, not just Valentine's Day, we're gonna show this level, we're gonna do these things, but we're gonna do these all the time. And that's what I'm asking that, that's why we're gonna continue to talk about it, because that's what I want y'all to do. I want y'all to just learn each other's love language and begin to just do it all the time, or do it whenever you feel like doing it. Let it be a surprise. Let it not be a birthday or a holiday for you to perform this, but let it be a sign that you have studied and you do know who, what your spouse likes, what your spouse enjoys, what way they feel loved or show the appreciation. So that is an important thing, that we don't just stop. Oh, it's not Valentine's anymore, we're done. Oh, yesterday was real good. Hope you had a good time. Because listen, there are some people like that. Like, hope you had a good time, because we'll get up again on your birthday.
So next
or
year.
Mother's Day, Father's Day, whatever. And other than that, that's all the affection they got. Some of y'all was popping out with booze. I was like, whoa. Whoa, I want to see him. I want to see it. Y'all know I love it. I love. And I want to see him. So next week, I want to see him too. Okay? Next week, I want to see them. I want to see all of them. When the summer come, I still want to see the same ones.
Yeah,
okay?
A lot of people don't want to say it, but, listen, I got a problem being the one to tell you that some of these pictures I see yesterday, they weren't the same people from Christmas.
Not Christmas.
Weren't the same people
Not
from Christmas now.
But, so I just want us to get into this habit. We can get into a habit of being negative. We can get into a habit of saying what we dislike, what we don't like, what you can't do, what you're not doing, how you're not pleasing me. But we don't ever get into a habit of saying how much I appreciate this, how much, this made me happy, how much, wow, you've learned me, you've studied me, now, wow, that I changed from 10 years ago. Now I don't like the same things. My love, last week we talked about love languages changed. Somebody was saying that they realized that him and his spouse realized that the love language changed. And that's true. Your love language will change, or you will have a primary and a secondary, but if your spouse is not studying you or doing their homework, they won't know that.
Right.
They won't know. Back then when he did my nails, he know I really, 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 really really cared about my nails, like so much. But he knows now it's not as much. I like to get my nails done. I got hearts. Y'all see my hearts? I got hearts. But shout out to Jennifer. I got hearts. But I'm okay. I'm okay with my natural nail. I'm okay with if I can't do it for a little while. Thank God I've been able to. But if I can't, you know what I'm saying? Back then it was like, oh no, every 2 weeks I need to get these nails done. It's very important to me. If you purchase that, but now I still like it if you pay for the nails. That's great. But if back then that would be like everything. Like, oh yes. But he knows that I've changed. And that's what you have to know about your spouse, that they change, so don't think like, well, I know what you like. And they're like, no, yeah, I did 7 years ago. 7 years ago, I loved that. But now I'm on to a new thing. I like physical touch now, or whatever it is. So you have to know your love language. You have to study your spouses. And if they can't get it, you have to be willing to communicate it to them. This is what I like. This is what I appreciate. This is how I feel loved. This is how I feel, this is how I feel that you care for me. I was about to say something else. I lost it. But
Desired?
It's okay. Huh?
Was it desired?
No. I was about to say a whole nother thought. I was already on another thought.
Okay.
When I finished that, I was going to go right into it, but I can't. Okay. So,
one of the comments said that this is my new primary love language, and I didn't even know I would appreciate it. But my mister started taking my car to get detailed without me asking, and she felt so loved. He's also been helping around the house more since the baby. And that's good because, when life changes and, the family structure adjusts and things happen, like you have to be able to, kind of get in and do things. Cause like sometimes we can be so systematic that we don't pay attention that things have changed, or there's a great chance or possibility that what someone used to do they can't do now for whatever reason, and you have to be attentive enough to know that they can't, and considerate enough to relieve them of it if you know they can't, or to assist them, you know what I'm saying, to kind of make things better. And that's good, because like, fellas, we can sometimes suck in that area when it comes to children being born, and in addition to the family that we just like, look, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, you get up every time the baby get up, you do everything with the baby, but I'm still expecting you to do everything that you were doing before the baby. I mean, of course you have to, kind of grow into, and then we don't oftentimes give that learning curve for you to, kind of get into the groove of being a mother, or being a mother again. And sometimes we will take for granted that because you've been a mother before, that you already got this and you shouldn't need a learning curve. But every child is different. Every pregnancy is different. The circumstances and the situations are different. You know what I mean? So before, when it was just your first child, it was just like, oh, this is nothing. You was just so happy and all that. But like, by the time you get to that second or third or fourth or wherever you are, in your children process, and you're like, yeah, I have this one, but I still have the responsibility of these others. They still need to eat. They still need to learn. They still got to go to school, or they got to homeschool at this point, whatever, is needed. And so sometimes as men, we don't always adjust in those times or in those areas to be as much of a assistance as we could be. But, that's something that we definitely need to take more pride in, and learn a little more from or with, because that will help us a great deal in being able to show an act of service, but actually be, present in our family and our child's life, even at the early age, because you don't want to be a father that can identify with your infant.
Yes.
When they're crying, that you're not one that can soothe them, that you're not one that they want, or that they, are longing for, or you're the one that can be the calm to them, or whatever. You want to establish your presence, in the beginning of a child's life, and not wait until, oh, I'm gonna wait till they can walk. I'm gonna wait till they can run. And you know what I mean? Like, at that point, you don't even know them. You know what I'm saying? And or they don't know you, because in their early impressionable stages, you weren't there to kind of attach, and for those of you who are not aware, babies attach to hearts. So, when you're not present and you're not, there in that time, and allowing them to feel your heart and to know your heart, then by the time you go to hold them, your heart is foreign to them. So, those kinds of things do matter. And, how we adjust to the family growing is big. So that's definitely a plus, for him to be doing that.
Definitely. Because there's a commercial, and the baby starts crying. The guy gets up and he's like, he'll get the baby, and then she's like, she'll go get breakfast or whatever. Now me, I'll be like, just go get breakfast. I'll get the baby. When you come back, we can switch up, because I don't feel like going out the house. But I think that's a great commercial, because it shows that partnership. It shows they're willing to work together in this, because a lot of us, like, you get the baby, I'm rolling over, good night. Like, I'm not getting up. That's why I say every time I see it, I'm like, she's crazy. I would be like, all right, just bring me the baby, and you go ahead and get it. And when we come back, we can switch so I can eat.
I'm like, all right, so I'm just gonna do everything. That's what you're saying, basically.
But we had this time, a little sidebar. We did have this time, our second daughter was something else, but it hurting on you. She wouldn't stop crying. Like, it was something else. And we had to, like, make it work. Like, I tried, because I knew he had to go to work. I would make a bed somewhere else. I said I would never do some of these things I did with her. And then some days it just got to the point where he's like, I got her. Like, I don't know. She's cried. Yeah. So, we had to work it out, because you don't want to be the one that's like, oh, you're exhausted, and then you can't even take care of the child when your spouse is gone to work, or your spouse is out the house, or has something to do because things come up. You don't want to be so sleepy, and because you're not sharing in this, So it's always great when somebody can help out. He takes her every morning since I keep her at night. Yeah, that's excellent. And then you would just roll over, like not go out and get no breakfast, get up and cook no breakfast. No, I'm joking. Like I love the commercial though because it shows that the woman's just not always jumping up. Y'all, this is just like marriages. Like marriages can work, and this partnership when it comes to different dynamics of your relationship, you can still work it. You just have to figure out how. Mm-hmm. You know, you just have to say, okay, I'm gonna take her tonight. You're gonna take her in the morning. We're gonna do this for 3 nights, and then the other 3, and then one night we just want whoever get up, just get up. Like you have to figure out how to make it work so that it works for you. You cannot go off of somebody else. Now, what you can do, right? I don't do nothing. See, that's what I'm saying. That would be me. I'm like, all right, you got it. Okay, gotta go to bed. Gotta watch TV. Whatever it is, not doing anything. And often the men, for those men who don't know, often a woman, you're supposed to actually sleep when your baby sleeps, right? Mm-hmm. But a lot of times you need to make milk, you need to make bottles, whatever you need to do. You need to wash the clothes, change the sheets, wash yourself, you know, like whatever you need to do. And so you don't always do that. But if you are partnering in this thing, it'll be a lot easier for both of you to do that. Now, everybody's going to be sleep deprived. Just a little bit, possibly, you know, for a little while.
Yeah.
And then you'll get back to it. This turned into a whole parenting class, but it's okay because, you know, that's somebody might be, I believe that somebody, that is an ex service, and somebody might be struggling, and it's like, how in the world, you know, do you do it? People ask us all the time, how in the world do you have 6 children? Well, you just do it, you know, you just do it. So you, sleep when a baby sleeps is a myth, right? You might think it's a myth, right? It might be a myth, but I feel like it's great because I actually tried it before. And like, if I slept when the baby was asleep, I was so much better. Now, sometimes the baby was waking up and I was like, hold up.
Don't you need 15 more minutes?
We need another 30 minutes. But yeah, I think that it's probably came from your grandmother's, your great grandmother. Like, you need to sleep in that baby sleep. You know, stop moving around. Oh, right. Right. So, yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, they, you know, while they're asleep, we're always doing other things because also we don't get the time to do things because they're up. Mm-hmm. So, but the partnership is great. I really love it. I love to see people do what some say can't be done or they won't do, or like, oh, she take care of the baby. No, that's both of y'all, baby. Right. So you take care. Everybody needs to pitch in. Matter of fact, that's the family, baby. The kids know how to make a bottle, change a diaper. Like, everybody needs to know what to do or how to assist in some way that's safe, okay, for the baby. So I'm not just talking to Courtney and Dwayne. I'm talking to anybody who's listening about the children, because a lot of times that is a problem. You know, you have a lot of arguments and disagreements because you do not know how to manage your house.
Right.
You got to know how to manage your household. You know, you got to know how to operate that business. You got to know whose job is what and who does it well. Sometimes, now, if we looking for something, we know what child to send to look for something. Right. We left something downstairs. We know what child to send. You got to know your children. That's what he's saying about knowing your children. Even from infancy on up, you need to know your children. You know who you can send where, who you're going to have to tell 3 and 4 times. Some of y'all don't know that. And it's not only the fathers either. Right. Some of the mothers, y'all don't know that. Y'all like, oh, I don't know. He always telling her to do. You know, everybody needs to know. Because then you're going to expect something from that child they can't give you. Right. You know, one of my children, I send them downstairs right now, like, go get something clear as day. They're going to get down there and they're going to call me and say, Mom, what did you say? What is it? You know, I didn't know if it was something I did. I don't know if it's something that happened younger. I don't know. But it's just like them steps create something and makes it leave. So if you need something right away, you on the phone, you like, go downstairs and get my wallet. That's not the child you send. Because now the whole house is in an uproar. And this is serious business. Because the whole house is in an uproar because now you frustrated and they like, I've been this child. I've been doing this.
Right. Like,
why
haven't you learned?
Yeah. Why do you think I went? I mean, I just can't remember it right there. So, well, I just go down too many steps and it disappears. I get down there and twirl around and then this is what my parents want.
Not twirl around.
So, you just have to know your child. You have to know how they learn, things that you need them to do, how they can help with the baby. Yes, they can help in many ways, but you don't want them to be struggling, or like if they can't remember how to make the formula, you don't want them to do that because baby be drinking water, just water, tinted water. You have one of them can only hear half of the directions. Yeah, some children I don't know. We fuss at them, we get frustrated, but if you really think about it, there's some things that you don't do well. You can't do well. I know there's some things I can't do well, so. Like, I had to start being like, okay, I should have asked. In my mind, saying I should have just asked. And they know, they like, why is she asking me? She knows that when I get there, I'm going to be like, why are you asking me?
You get mad and you're like, I mean, you knew you said. Like, what you mad for?
So, we had, let's move on to the next one. We got the whole parenting thing. I could talk about that forever, I guess, because I was main children.
Right. So the next one is quality time.
Yes, quality. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
So I feel like we talked about this a little bit, but quality time, because we were talking about like back-to-back talking. This was like 2 weeks ago. Back-to-back talking, leaning back-to-back and talking with your spouse and different things like that. And I said last week that your time is your time. Don't post a whole lot of stuff. All of that. Your time is your time together. So quality time is whatever you agree to do, that you do it with each other. No whole lot of, I can't do this, we got to change the plans. Okay. If you do have to change your plans on something, even if it's a date night, like if we have something to do, Marcus makes sure, and I will give him his props, he makes sure that it's rescheduled, normally to the next day. Whether you want to tie it, like it or not,
ain't my problem.
It's normally the next day. Whether you said this day I'm gonna sleep in or not, it's like it's happening. Yeah. So you
can yourself accordingly.
You can't keep canceling plans and then don't get, especially if your spouse is quality time, because you need to be able to give them what they need, how they feel loved, spend time with them, and spend interrupted time with them. Right. They don't want time that you're looking at your phone the whole time, or you're looking at TV. Now, if your quality time is watching TV, like yesterday, our quality time with the kids was watching that movie. But I told them, I gave the disclaimer that I was going to go to sleep. I was going to take my nap. I told them from the beginning because I already knew that I wasn't going to really like it. I just felt like I wasn't going to like it. It just didn't. I just felt. But they wanted to see it so bad. So I just said, listen, y'all, I'm going to tell y'all now, I'm going to take this my time to take my nap. But I didn't leave and go get in the bed. And every time they said something, I could wake up. I think we woke up and comment. And one time I woke up and one child was just gone, missing. She was just gone. She said, forget this whole thing. So, but they know us. At least I wasn't in my room. Like, I tried. But if you choose, like, okay, we're going to sit down and watch a movie, then that's what you're going to do. We're going to sit down and we're going to watch Netflix. That's what you're going to do. We're going to go out the harbor and we're going to people watch. That's what you're going to do. But you're going to do it with each other. Now, when one person is doing what they said we were going to do and the other person is doing something different, that's when this quality time thing gets messed up. We have to learn to enjoy each other. And I think that COVID, the pandemic, helped us to know where we lack in that and where we're strong in that, like spending quality time and enjoying each other. Now, of course, if quality time is not your your active service, your love language, then you are gonna have to, do some compromise, make some, I really think that this should be everybody's love language.
What, quality time? Yeah,
not like primary, but somewhere should be somewhere in there. You should always want to spend quality time with your spouse. I think this is kind of like, it's like quality, not like how much y'all spend together, but the quality of what you spend.
And that's what I was going to say, that I think that sometimes people get quantity of time and quality of time mixed up. And you have to be careful because there are some people who are very time conscious. And if they are very time conscious and you want quantity of time, but there's no quality to it, then they don't want to be in that. They don't want to be there because it's counterproductive to them, accomplishing something. So I've seen that in many relationships where one person wanted quantity of time while the other wanted quality. And the one that wanted quantity could not understand why the one that, survives off of quality didn't want to keep adding to, because they felt like they were actually wasting time. It was counterproductive. They weren't getting anything done. And at the end of that time, they're like, we just wasted hours. We just sat here and literally did nothing when there's so much that I want to do or we could have done. You know what I mean? But like that communication is important during those times because, there has to be an understanding. We have to be aiming for the same thing. We can't both take off running and we got two different destinations or goals, and then we're gonna get there looking for each other and we're not gonna be together because we didn't communicate where we were going. Go and you just take off running. Like, where are we going? You know what I'm saying?
I'm not gonna be there anyway.
So, you know what I'm saying? But that's important because you don't want your quality time what's supposed to be quality time to end up being wasted time. And I know nobody wants to hear that, like you spending time with somebody and you got me here wasting this time with my wife. I'm wasting this time. You feel like you're wasting time with your husband. But like if you're not doing anything of value, you have to know the person that you're with. If that's a person that is big on or based on, valuing of time or being productive and accomplishing things and all of that, like then they're gonna be okay. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? With just some quantity of time. But like somebody who doesn't have a lot of free time, then the time that they give, they want to do something with. Don't waste it because then they feel like, don't complain about me not giving you time if when I give it to you, you do nothing with it. Yeah. But complain about the time that you don't get. That's like having an argument about, well, we never spend time. And then they set aside time to spend with you. And for the 3 hours that they set aside to spend with you, you spend that 3 hours talking about the last 9 days that you didn't get the time that you wanted. Yeah. Well, you just wasted 3 hours that they gave you that could have been quality time. And we don't understand that sometimes our quality time will create more quality time. What you do with that, it's almost like money. If you just spend it, it's gone. But if you do something with it that's positive, if you invest it, or if you plan it, then it can come back and it can grow and be more than what you started out with. So you want your time to be quality, not just quantity, because you want to have some value to it. You want your mate to value the fact that you guys are together. What were you laughing at?
Oh gosh. I thought about me walking, running, and falling like at the thing I fell in the ditch. Okay.
You wasn't even running though.
I wasn't running, but I just thought about that. You be like, all right, go, we take off, and I just fall in the ditch. But anyway, all right, sorry, y'all. I'm a little sleepy.
I was talking to her and everything. I mean, we walking together.
He's told y'all this story before.
She had on all black and had funnel cake with powder, and we talking. I'm like, yeah. So I went to say something. And I look. I'm like, shit, yeah. I'm looking around, and she getting up with all this powder all down her black. I was like, what's really going on?
Man was down. I was on that ground. Oh my goodness. But I don't know. That tickled me today. So what I was about to say is that when you learn your spouse's love language, you need to know. Oh gosh, wait a minute. Let it come back to me, Lord, because
wow. When you learn your spouse's love language.
Yes. I was gonna say something profound, I think. I felt like it came straight from the Lord.
Oh.
When you learn your spouse's love language, guys, see, that's what happens. I start can't sleep. Go ahead.
Well, when you learn your spouse's love language, you learn to connect on a deeper level because you better understand them. You better understand what they need, what they want, and then you're in a better position to provide it, which is going to create a better environment of happiness. You're going to contribute more happiness to them. You're going to contribute more joy and peace to them. And, you know, at the same time, you want your quality time to grow. So the time that we have, it's almost like anything else. You know, you have a nice date and you're like, man, I can't wait till the next time. Why? Because it was quality. You know, y'all do something and it's just like, it's the dumbest thing in the world. I hope you don't ask me to do nothing tomorrow because I'm going to be busy. You ain't even got nothing planned, but you're going to find something because it wasn't quality. So, you know, the time is not the real thing. It's the quality of it. It's what you do with it. Still ain't back.
So when you learn your spouse's love language and you are able to do it, show them that you see that this is how they learn, you will 9 times out of 10 wind up getting your love language, because when they're happy, they will want to make you happy. Mm-hmm. Right? And if that makes them happy, whatever it is, if it's receiving gifts, if it's acts of service, whatever makes them happy, if you're doing that and if you're consistent in it, then it will soon be that they will be consistent in trying to see how they can do something for you. I hope and I pray, you know. No, we got some of y'all selfish. I know, and listen, I'm gonna deal with it because I think I used to be selfish. But so, you know, some of y'all like, okay, that's nice, that's good, that's what he's supposed to do, that's what she's supposed to do. No, we're supposed to do this together. so I just think that if we learn these things and we're consistent to them, and like I said, consistency is past Valentine's Day. Consistency is past, you know, now, of course, you might do something big or special on Valentine's Day, and you might not be able to do that every week, but there's something you can do on a different scale. Mm-hmm. You know, there's something you can do every month, I'm sure, on a different scale. So once you start doing that, then you will see that it will be a give and take for you and your spouse. I believe that. And even for engaged people that are engaged, you know, you're in the learning phase. You need to learn all you can. And will you get everything right? No, mm-hmm. Because some things you will see clearer when you're, you know, when you're married and you spend a lot of time together, it will become clearer. But that doesn't mean you can't learn now. You still can't learn some of the things that, you know, your fiance appreciates. Mm-hmm. So that's what I was going to say.
Oh, that's good.
Stay upright.
Right. Yeah. But if you know, the more you learn, the more you study, the better you'll be in your position. And you know, I know oftentimes we're always looking for our mate to be all of these things that sometimes we're not for them. And, you know, it really is unfair to expect top-notch, top quality, you know, relationship from your mate when mm-hmm. you've given them some bootleg knockoff type of stuff. You know, that doesn't work. So you got to be able to expect and understand that, you know, your role is valuable in the relationship, and your role can be contagious. What you do can spark something mm-hmm. for your mate. You being consistent, you being attentive, you know, doing some acts of service, or, you know, you providing some quality of time. Like if you're the person, if you're not the person that does something, then try it. You know what I'm saying? But make sure that you do a bang out job with it so that it can be something that's memorable and something that's appreciated. Like if they're the person that always does whatever, if they're the one that always cook, then you cook. Or if they're the person that always, you know, plan the trip, then you plan the trip. If they're the person who always, you know, does whatever it is, then, you know, mm-hmm. one time you take that. And, you know, of course, at the same time, you got to stay in our lane. We can't just be out here. I can't go to work for her. Like, you know, hey, you know, you stay in the bed. I'm gonna go be a nurse today. Like, it's, you know, somebody gonna get hurt. So that's, you know, we got to stay in our lane with it. But it's the fact of the things that you can do. And while there are so many things that we can't, there are so many things that we can. So, you know, you can't just eliminate the fact that you have nothing to do because I can't go to work and be a nurse for her to give her some time off. But there are a ton of other things that I could do for her. And so mm-hmm. if I choose those things, then I will make everything better, because her going to work and being a nurse would be a lot easier if she didn't have to worry about these three things after she gets done being a nurse at work. So, you know, sometimes we're looking at the big thing like, oh, well, I can't do that. Oh, I can't do that. And that's right, you can't. But what you can do if you do that, you still make things better. It's still an act of service. It's still consideration. It's still you, you know, showing up and showing that you're attentive, showing that you're paying attention, and that you see where you could get in and help and make things better. So all of that is necessary, and all of those things when we really understand it. So we really need to take some time and kind of study what these love languages are, and to make sure that we know what our mates are. And they might not just be one, you know, they might have 2 or 3 or 4, could enjoy all 5, you know what I'm saying? And so, you know, but understand that there's a receiving end and the giving end. So you can't just be on the receiving end, nor can you just be on the giving end, because you can't pour from a cup that's empty.
Yes.
So if you're trying to do something and there's nothing there, then you know you're only gonna recreate nothingness, and that's not gonna be healthy.
So guys, if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please subscribe. It is Team Bevins. If you are not in our Couples Corner on group on Facebook, please go and like it. If we don't have your email address, please inbox us your email address. Again, we don't send emails every day, but we do send emails. And as the world opens back up, we will be having things coming that we will send probably emails about, and we want to be able to get in contact with you. If you have topics that you would like us to talk about, please send that to our inbox as well. And whenever we post things, you can feel free to like them and share them with whoever you think it would help in their relationship or in their marriage. We thank y'all for tuning in. And we thank you for listening to us and sharing. For those of you who always share, we thank you for sharing. And we hope that you will continue to be on this love journey, learning your love languages, knowing your spouse's love language, knowing that yours has changed and not being afraid to communicate that, and knowing that your spouses may have changed and not be afraid to learn that, and that you will continue this love thing, be consistent with it, that your marriage will thrive, and that your marriage will have more good days than bad days. Because you're taking time to learn each other and know how to fulfill your spouse.
And that's a important thing, you know, for us to really learn and to do, that we are supportive of our mate. The more that we support, the better that we will be able to be of service to them. It's not just about us getting out of our relationships. It's a lot about us giving. And when we learn how to give more, without the intent of getting more, we have to desire to give more, because more is what we want to give. It's what we want to share. It's what they deserve. And as we give more, then we'll create a better environment and a healthier environment for our relationship. And if both parties focus on giving, nobody will have to focus on wondering what it is that they're getting or not getting, because your focus is on giving. If my focus is on pleasing her, then I don't have time to worry about pleasing me. And hopefully, while my focus is pleasing her, her focus is pleasing me. So therefore, I don't have to worry about me. She doesn't have to worry about her. And that eliminates selfishness. The reason that we're selfish is because we fear that we're not going to be taken care of the way we want to be, or think that we should, or that we're not going to be considered or valued. And so because we're too busy worrying about ourselves, we in turn are not worried enough about our mate. And then we end up doing a disservice in the position that we have and what we're supposed to do and accomplish, because we're being selfish and worried about ourselves. If we could just practice that for a while, just focusing on producing and providing for your mate and not being worried about yourself, you'll see that planting those seeds will grow a harvest of fruit for you, that you will be benefited from what you've sown into your mate's life. So that's what we want you guys to kind of focus on, and embrace these love languages, figure out which ones you operate from, And again, like we told you, these are not all of them. And, this is not the Bible. This is just something that will help you. It gives you a framework of something to do. Sometimes we do nothing because we don't know what to do. So we're trying to provide avenues and things that you can use to get the ball rolling, and then you define it in your relationship of what's healthy and what works for you, because your relationship is not somebody else's. So you can't just go
Yes.
and do everything that they do, because you're not going to get that result, because it's just not the same people. So that's where we need to be, and that's what we're striving and aiming to do. So again, we thank you guys for tuning in with us in the Couples Corner, and we will see you guys next time in the Couples Corner. Y'all have a good one.